JoySparklebS, and if I have that I look really tired again thing, yeah, I am. Again, I was like on my way to bed. I've just done a day of filming, and then I was just really, really tired, and I wanted to watch something before bed, and I saw this Shane Dawson video come up. Now, let me preface it and say, I could give a shit less about Jake Paul or Kevin Paul or Devin, wait, what are their names? Jake and something Paul. To me, they're like the same person. What are they called? I don't remember. Logan, that's it, Jake and Logan Paul. I think I did a couple videos of him back in the day when he was like standing on news cars and stuff. Honestly, I don't know much about them. I don't really care. It seems like tweeny bopper stuff, and I'm not trying to put anybody down. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like if you're an adult, you're not really interested to go in the kiddie rides at the amusement park unless you have kids and you're helping them. So I really, like, I heard he was gonna do this documentary. Love Shane, like, I don't know a lot about Shane Dawson, but I love his conspiracy theory videos and I love his documentaries he's done. I think that I think they're pretty good. I mean, of course, there's some little criticisms I have, but I think they're fairly good as they are. So, I had no interest to watch this. I was not gonna make a video about this. I have two or three other videos lined up for today, but he was touching, like, the whole part one was really interesting because it's touching on a subject that I've been talking about, and I've talked about a lot since my time on YouTube. We're talking about narcissists. Hey Peter, hey. It was a big thing about narcissists and about YouTubers and wanting to like go to a psychologist to figure out like people who do YouTube, is there like something wrong with them? Is there something off? Is Jake Paul a narcissist? And going into what narcissists are. And that hit really close to home because it's something that I've talked really openly about with YouTube. YouTube is really, it's interesting and difficult. And I don't mean difficult in like, here's the thing. Like, it's not that hard to film a video and upload it unless you're like doing a big production with lots of editing and shit. Then you know, it's really time consuming. Like a video like this isn't that hard. It can be difficult for me just because I don't feel well and I'm sick and I don't have the energy a lot to do the things I want. So that's where it gets hard for me. But in general, it's not that YouTube itself is hard, but mentally and emotionally, it's really difficult to stay stable and grounded and do YouTube, especially if you start getting success at it. You guys have seen me go through it, and it was a whole ordeal because I was also like really, really sick and had all that going on, as you guys know. So it's something I've talked a lot about. It seems like we have bred this culture of narcissists. I said that word, narcissists. I think I forgot the T at the end. I said it like a basic bitch. You know, like those basic bitches say their S's really weird. It's almost like it's a weird, almost speech impediment inflection. Narcissist. Okay, I'm getting off track. What am I talking about? But, okay, so on YouTube, it's really hard because you've got to, in some ways, play the YouTube game if you want to get anywhere. But how do you do that? How do you grow a channel? How do you get successful? How do you do all that and still stay true to yourself? And that's not easy. I don't think we realize how easily influenced we are, swayed, or just influenced in general by public opinion, by a mass of people. I think that's why you have people like PeterMonn, who from what we can see is a closet Republican, who's acting like a complete liberal SJW. He's probably still a closet Republican, but he knows that for him to be in the genre of YouTube he has to act like an extreme liberal social justice warrior, right? And I feel like we keep seeing more and more, like we hear it all the time, how fake people are, you know, exposing somebody, how fake somebody is. To the point where it's like everybody's trying to expose everybody for something. And this is my opinion. I think the rise of the internet has been amazing, but I would say for the last 10, 20 years of generations of people, it's really changed society. It's warped like our kids and teens and preteens and people in their 20s. Like, it's one thing, you know, my generation, we grew up, we just got AOL, and there was no YouTube. Like, literally, I remember I begged my mom at like 10 years old when I figured out what AOL was. We had a free version, and I got to go over to my dad's one weekend and use it, and I was like, you can connect with anybody in the world. Like, that's what people got off on. Remember chat rooms and stuff? It was just like, you can connect with anybody in the world, anywhere, at any time. It was amazing. But the internet, for many people recreationally, it's turned into being able to almost have your own shitty reality show. It really has. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I think that's one of the big reasons we're seeing the rise of the entitlement, the rise of the narcissism, the rise of what can look like sociopathy. I know sociopaths and narcissists are different, but you have to have a level of thinking yourself important to be able to come on here and give an opinion. You know, I enjoy giving my opinions, but I guess there's a part of me that thinks I have enough, there's a self-worth part of me that thinks I have something to say and people should want to hear it, you know? And that's not inherently a bad thing, but I think, this is what I think. So Steve Jobs back in the day, Steve Jobs used to say when he created all these, you know, devices and stuff for Apple, he would not let his kids be on those devices. And he always said, no, our children should need to be children. They shouldn't be having access to all this. And here we have 10-year-olds walking around with smartphones. You know what I'm saying? Like unlimited plans. I got my first cell phone when I was 20 years old, my freshman year of college, and it had barely any function. My grandma got it for me as like, in case you get raped. You know, like, that's what it was for. And I think Steve Jobs was right. And I think what happened is that we have generations of people now who grew up having access to everything instantly at their fingertips, including fame and a way to get there. Where my generation, you didn't have that. You knew you might work your ass off and never get anywhere with something, you know? And the internet totally changed that. And specifically, I shouldn't say internet, but specifically YouTube. YouTube, I think, YouTube was a complete game changer when it came to this stuff. And then of course Twitter. And it just took off. And it's like, we have a culture of people where everybody not only wants to be famous, a lot of times for no reason, they feel entitled to. You have a whole culture of people that when they do see their favorite YouTubers or do get to meet them or interact or whatever, they feel entitled to that interaction, they feel entitled to your responses, they feel entitled to your time, they feel entitled to tell you what to do and you need to do it because from their perspective, their opinion is right and they should push it on you. It's like everybody's doing this narcissistic battle with each other. And you can't, and the thing is, who do you blame? I'll tell you what I think. You can't blame YouTube for existing. YouTube's great. Before YouTube, everybody had to go into Hollywood where it's full of rapists and pedophiles. Like, that's the truth. That is the truth. I sometimes think to myself, I wonder, and I think a lot of people think about this, right? Like, how many young starlets or people do we see at some point in their mid-20s just go fucking crazy? It's probably because they've been around a lot of fucking kitty diddlers and all kinds of shit that they just had to endure, and that it created all kinds of issues we don't know about. So, if we're trying to be so protective of people in Hollywood on the flip side, what has YouTube psychologically done to children and teens? What has giving instant access to this kind of stuff done to children and teens? And I don't think there are any, I mean, I don't know if this is correct, I'm just gonna guess, so I can hear in my comments, oh, you're lying, but here's a study, but I don't know that I don't think there are any real long-term studies on the long-term effects of having access to the internet, or to like specific things like social media, YouTube, having, you know, being able to access that at a young age. How does that shape you? Like for people in my generation, I'm 34. Can you imagine not only going through how difficult high school is on its own, because, you know, there's hormones, there's everybody learning how to be social and get along, and you're trying to figure out what you want to do in the world and cliques and all of that. But then, can you think about adding social media to it as a weapon against one another? Like, no wonder everybody, like, all the younger kids have anxiety and depression and shit. No wonder. No fucking wonder. I would. Like, that age is hard enough. And it seems like, and I know I'm really deviating here, but I'm this is kind of a rant video. Well, it's rant, but I'm not really ranting. I'm really angry. I'm just thinking it through, you know, just, like I've been going through, I know you guys saw my video yesterday, which I uploaded the wrong one. I was gonna upload one on like where I was at with certain things on my body, so I had to change the title. I felt really stupid. The joys of having fun little brain fogs and doing your best. But I've been really going through this introspective period lately. And it's weird I say period because it's something I do a lot, but... And maybe I should say this in another video, but I've just really been thinking about YouTube and YouTubers and how they interact with each other, and even myself and some of my interactions with people, you know? And the problem is, YouTube is nothing like the real world, and I learned that the very naive hard way, as I've talked about. And I think that really does shape a person. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. You know, it seems like the Pauls have this really fucking creepy dad that kind of runs everything behind the shows. And just from what I've seen, which is a very limited amount, right? I kind of pick up on that. I think that this is where it sucks. What sucks is when the negative behaviors are encouraged by a parent. And I think there are several levels of what's going on. I think it's similar to what Shane said. They have fame, they don't want to lose it. I think that they have money, they don't want to lose it. They're trying to be like these business moguls, you know? And they have learned from viewers, they have learned from us what is going, like, basically, like, when they do something, we reward them with our views, which gives them money, right? Gives them attention, gives them more opportunity, gives them wider reach. I'm not blaming so much the viewer, but it's just an interesting dichotomy, isn't it? A lot of the times when we bitch about something, like the Paul brothers, and yet then we still click. I don't know much about them. Like, I'm just, like, talking about, like, what I see in society, if that makes sense. Hold on, I gotta get some water. Oh, interesting point. Well, okay, see, the narcissism. I think it's interesting. Y'all might think it's stupid, but hold on. It is, it's hard to be on YouTube and stay humble. It's hard to be on YouTube and be a genuine person, and I'll explain that too. But, like with the Paul brothers, what it looks like to me is it looks like there's a parent really fanning the flames, guys, all those flames. It seems like there's somebody behind them, and then, you know, their father done really creepy stuff, like kissed on their girlfriends and young girls and stuff, which I don't even want to get into. It's just gonna make me mad. Like, how young were those girls? Don't tell me. Leave in the comments. I'm gonna look. I'll be responding. And then the mom, I don't know how into it she is. She seems really supportive, but the dad seems to really encourage it all. And I can relate to that in the sense of, in a very different way, obviously, but I had a bit of a stage mom. On the one hand, I'm really grateful that she helped me get most of my opportunities, but most of my opportunities came and were paid for by my grandmother. But my mom took all the credit for it. I found out later. But I was really grateful that she was supportive, but she very much, it was weird. She was a stage mom, but it was like she was a stage mom for making her look good, what she wanted me to do. It was really, really weird. And through that, what I realized is my mother encouraged really shitty behaviors. Shitty behaviors in me that it took me to my mid-20s and a boyfriend sit me down and explaining it to me, where I went, oh my God, that's not me. That's not me. That's not me. Like, you know something interesting, an interesting experiment to do, and I've done this before. When you're arguing with somebody, put a camera on you both and see the horror. Remember, I had a boyfriend that was like, when you get angry, you get really fucking arrogant. I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, yes, you do. And I'm like, you know what? Fine, let's film our fight. We filmed our fight, and I like cried for an hour after I watched it. I was like, oh, I do get arrogant. Oh my God, I look like a pretentious asshole. Is that me? Is that me? And I felt really, really bad. and that's what I've said before. You know, sometimes when I get angry or get heated or I get defensive, I can come across arrogant. I don't mean to. It's bad home training. It's something that I work on. So it's like, okay, so let me explain. So a lot of the behaviors we see from the Pauls, obviously they're grown-ass adults, now they have to take responsibility for their actions. However, on the flip side, on the compassionate side, here's what you have to think about. They were, what, teenagers when they started doing this, and encouraged by their parents, especially their father, right? And when you don't have good home training, it can be very difficult to navigate how to do things, truly. Because it happened to me. Like, I was encouraged to do all the wrong behaviors. Literally because the people I was around, like my mom, I hate saying stepdad, but her boyfriend, and the white trash people thought it was funny to watch me make a fool of myself or be accidentally mean to somebody. And it took me many years of seeing those behaviors and working on undoing them. Many, many years. And I wonder how much the parental push plays a role in what they're doing and has shaped their time on YouTube. How much have they been pushed by their parents, by this, you know, this father or whatever? How much have they been like pushed to act like a fucking fool just so they can all get more money? You know? Where's the line of where the parent's greed comes in? And this is where, you know, YouTube it's still, even though it's really oversaturated now, it's still very much a wild, wild west, right? You know, we have laws now in place in Hollywood to protect children when it comes to them working in Hollywood. You know, it took a long time, but, and I wonder, what are those laws when it comes to YouTube? You know, should there be, should we not have, you know, should there be ages of consent or something? I don't know. I don't know. Or, you know, should there be a clause where, you know, if you're a child YouTuber, you should, you know, your parents should have an account made for you? I don't know the answer to that. But it was just really interesting because I think a couple things happen on YouTube. I don't think everybody's a narcissist, but I think a lot of people have narcissistic traits. When I was younger, I had a lot of them because my mom pushed me to be a stage performer, and she pushed me to be like a look at me, look at me, look at me person. And when I realized that as I got older, I got really upset. I was like, that's not who, I didn't realize I was doing it. Like me. And like, I didn't realize I was acting that way. And then of course you throw in my new age years where the new age shit can really make you a fucking narcissist. I am wonderful. I'm amazing. I am loving. You are loving. You are me and I am you. And just all this fucking crazy, like, psychological mental gymnastics. But I think it's going to be a really interesting series. I recommend people watch it. Not that anybody needs me to recommend it. I'll tell you. Watch it because of the psychological aspect. That to me is what's fascinating, because I don't really care about the Paul brothers. The one or the two. Yeah, there's two of them. I don't really care so much about them. I mean, I just, you know, and it's not, I'm not being mean. I'm not just like, fuck them. I just don't, I don't like the behaviors that I've seen, some of them. I don't know much about them. I don't, like, that's the thing. I don't know much about it, have an opinion, but the angle Shane's coming from about YouTubers, I think, is really interesting, because I think a lot of the generation we have now that has grown up with instant access to everything, and I'm not trying to put generations down, I'm just trying to, like, well, there's one I make fun of, which is the baby boomers, because they drive me fucking nuts, but, like, you know, the younger generations, I'm not trying to put down, because it's not entirely their fault, but I feel like you have to have some narcissistic traits to put yourself on YouTube. And what is it in the end that we're all wanting? You know, everybody wants to be loved in the end. Loved and taken care of and without limitation. That's, I think, what human beings are always working to, and fear comes in when we think those things are going to be lost or gone. And that's where I think hardship is very important. Hardship, you know, limitations being taken, those things being taken away is very valuable and, in my opinion, incredibly, incredibly beneficial. It's beneficial really for your own happiness, for finding gratitude, you know what I'm saying? Like learning how to be happy with nothing. But yeah, sorry, I know this was like really rambling. I hope it doesn't sound preachy. I'm really not trying, like, I'm trying so hard to come across not being preachy. I'm not trying to be like, you need to blah, blah, blah. But it's just, I'm just kind of sharing some like musings I'm thinking about, you know, just things that are on my mind about it, and kind of what I saw. It's very strange. It is really strange to live in a culture where everybody wants to be famous and there's access for everybody to do it. But I say that, and can we really blame the generation before us, or do all people feel that way? Is that something that a lot of people want? It's just in the past people didn't have access to it. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think we see such a high rise in this narcissistic culture because of, I think, the generations before us having access to everything and to social medias and to things like YouTube. Yeah. By the way, I'm not really forming an opinion yet. These are just things I'm thinking about. I don't know, what do you think? Write in the comments, but I think it's really fascinating. I can't wait to see when he sits down to talk to a psychologist about, like, you know, traits of people on YouTube. But I don't think it's everybody, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there are people who just get on here and genuinely have fun sharing their stories and their opinions and whatnot. Like, for me, I'll tell you the struggle of me coming back. One of the struggles was when I did it before and left, I kind of breathed a sigh of relief, because I'm like, you know, there's just, YouTubers have this, there's an air of like self-importance about, it's my opinion, and my opinion's important, and my opinion's right, and I'm the only one that matters. There's just so much bullshit, social bullshit, that I was just like, God, the attention whoring aspect I didn't like whatsoever. of being on the platform. And that was one thing I really thought about, you know, because I thought about, before I came back, I thought about it for 2 months, and I kept going, no. And I was just like, God, these attention-whoring people, I kept really getting irritated. And so, like, coming back and then diving into MundaneMatt and the world of PeterMonn is just, it's been interesting. Speaking of narcissists, it's been interesting. So anyways, that's it. I'm gonna stop rambling, but if you have time, go watch it. Really good series. I'll be watching. And I don't even like the Paul brothers. I don't care. I don't care about tween shit. You know? Doesn't interest me. But yeah, so good job, Shane. Not that he's gonna watch us and not that he needs my congratulations, but he has it. Okay guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Just so you know, I answer most of the comments, especially the first 2 or 3 hours, because I sit on my computer and I just say hi to everybody. So if you write a comment quickly, I will probably respond quickly. So alright guys, also if you like it, please like the video if you don't mind. Subscribe if you like it, click that bell, and otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Continue to be blessed in yourselves and blessed to others, and continue to try to find the joy and the sparkles and all the bullshit in the world, because there's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of really crazy fucking people. It's another thing, like crazy people flock to YouTube. I think a lot of the mentally ill people, and I'm not talking about people who like, you know, like just they struggle with depression or anxiety or, you know, certain ailments, but I mean like people who are the mentally ill assholes. The assholes. You know, the jitwits! Those people flock to YouTube, they flock to social media, they flock because it's a place where they can get attention, they can try to manipulate. Like, think about troll culture. You know, trolls and haters, and that's a whole nother video though. That's a whole nother fucking video, because criticism is one thing, harassment is another. Because I'm gonna do a video on that at some point, because some people seem to be confused by when I say that, but I think a lot of people don't understand my story, which makes sense, right? Especially if the channel grows and new people come in, they're not gonna understand what I mean. So I think I'll have to do a video differentiating that. I'm gonna go. Every time I'm like, okay guys, I'm gonna do my outro, and then I talk for 5 minutes. I love you guys, I'll see you soon. Mwah. Goodbye.